Sue warning, if you make trouble again, I will send you back to the countryside. Listening to my husband's cold threat, I looked at the delicate nurse in his arms and suddenly smiled. In my previous life, I knelt all night for this sentence. In this life, I directly submitted the divorce application. Gu Jingen. My mother won't serve anymore. B1001 B1001. In the winter of 1976, the compound of the Northern Military District, on a snowflake night. I rushed to the health center with freshly boiled chicken soup and stepped on the snow. Sister warning, are you sending soup to the chief again? The soldier on duty at the door greeted with a smile. I nodded, pushed open the door but was stunned. In the room with a strong smell of disinfectant, Gu Jingan was carefully bandaging a female nurse's fingers. Does it hurt? I'm lighter. His voice was so gentle that I couldn't believe it. It was Lin Xiaoyu, a new nurse from the health center. Petite and cute, who spoke softly. Chief, I'm fine. You're busy. Lin Xiaoyu's face was as red as a flower, and his eyes were full of admiration. I stood at the door, and the soup in my hand gradually cooled down. This scene is too familiar to me. In my previous life, it was from this moment that Gu Jingen began to be cold to me, but he cared for her. Later, he did not go home for 3 days on the grounds of confidentiality. Later, I discovered their relationship. When I questioned him, he said coldly, Sue warning, who do you think you are? If it weren't for the good composition of your family, I would marry you. At that time, I was pregnant, knelt all night for this sentence, and finally had a miscarriage. Later, Lin Xiaoyu appeared at the military region ball as his fiancée, and I was kicked out of the compound. I returned to the countryside alone, and when I died in poverty and illness, their children would already call their fathers, Ahum. I coughed lightly. Gu Jingen turned around suddenly, and when he saw me, his face changed instantly, and he quickly let go of Lin Xiaoyu's hand. Warning, why are you here? Bring you soup. I calmly walked in and placed the thermos box on the table. Lin Xiaoyu looked at me timidly. Mrs. Chief, I'm sorry. I accidentally cut my hand and troubled the chief. It's okay. I smiled gently. Just be careful in the future. Gu Jingen frowned, as if he was a little surprised by my reaction. In my previous life, I would cry and question this situation, and I would be hysterical. But in this life, I just said lightly, the soup is hot and drunk, I'll go back first. Turning around and leaving the health center, snowflakes floated on his face, cold and cold. I didn't go home, but went directly to the post office at the entrance of the compound. Master, I want to send a telegram to the provincial capital. Who to send it to? Su Jiongwo. That was my brother, the head of the provincial military region. In my previous life, I never dared to contact my family, for fear of embarrassing Gu Jingen. In this life, I want to tell them that I am not having a good time. The content of the telegram was very simple. Brother, I want to go home and take a look. Warning, after sending the telegram, I walked home on the snow, passing by the homes of other military wives in the compound. Bursts of laughter and the smell of food came from inside, and my house is deserted and dark. Gu Jingan is still with his little nurse in the health center, pushing open the door. The room was even colder. I didn't light a fire or turn on the light. I just sat in the dark thinking about my thoughts. Gu Jingen in his previous life said to me, Su warning, you have nothing but your family background. Without culture and ability, you know how to cry. In this life, I want him to see what I Su warning have. It was late at night, and the door finally opened. Gu Jingen walked in with a cold air and was stunned for a moment when he saw the darkroom. Why don't you turn on the light? Save electricity, I replied calmly. He turned on the light in the dark and saw me sitting in a chair, his brows furrowed even deeper. Are you angry? No, I smiled. If you're tired, rest early. I'll go wash up. Gu Jingen looked at my back and always felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't say it. While washing, I looked at myself in the mirror. The 22-year-old face is still very young, but there is a little more indifference between his eyebrows that he did not have in his previous life. When I came back from rebirth, my biggest realization was, don't waste a minute for someone who is not worthy. Gu Jingen returned to the bedroom after washing up and found that I had already lied down on the far right side of the bed and put a pillow in the middle. Warning, What do you mean by this? The meaning is obvious. I closed my eyes. We sleep in separate beds. Why? Didn't you say I'm annoyed? Then you will be quiet. Ji Jing'an was stunned for a long time, and finally said nothing, and lay on the left. That night, I slept soundly. Early the next morning, when Ji Jing'an went to work, I was still sleeping. In the past, I would get up early to make breakfast for him, serve him to wash, and tidy up his military uniform. Today, I didn't do anything. Su Warning. He stood by the bed and called me. I opened my eyes in a daze. What's wrong? Where's breakfast? I'm not hungry. I turned over. You're hungry and do it yourself. Ji Jing'an's face was extremely ugly, but in the end he didn't say anything, slammed the door and left. I listened to his footsteps leaving, and the corners of my mouth rose slightly. In her previous life, Su Warning was too humble, giving up all her self-esteem for a man who didn't love herself. In this life, I want to live a proud life. B1001 B1001, at noon. I was reading at home when there was a knock on the door. Is sister-in-law Warning at home? It was Zhong Shuhua, the military sister-in-law next door, whose husband was a battalion commander and was lower in rank than Ji Jing'an, so she was always polite to me. When I opened the door, Zhong Shuhua was followed by several military wives, all of whom were acquaintances in the compound. Are there anything wrong with the sisters-in-law? That's right, Zhong Shuhua said with some embarrassment. In the afternoon, the troop is going to come to the condolence performance, and we need a few of our military wives to help prepare tea and snacks. You see, in the past, I would definitely agree without saying a word, and I would take the initiative to take on the most tiring work. Today I shook my head. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling well, I can't go. Several military wives looked at each other, and Zhong Shuhua was even more stunned. Sister-in-law Warning, are you okay? Do you want to go to the health center? It's not a big deal. I just want to rest. I smiled politely. You guys are busy. I won't participate. After saying that, I closed the door directly. There was a whisper outside the door. What's wrong with the chief's wife? She used to be the most positive. Who knows, maybe the husband and wife quarreled. No, the chief loves her so much. Listening to these discussions, I just sneered. Hurt me. When did Ji Jing'an hurt me? At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the performance began. I looked at the lively scene in the compound through the window, and my heart was very calm. In my previous life, every time I was at the forefront of this kind of activity, I was half tired. But Ji Jing'an never said a word of thanks. Now that I think about it, it's ridiculous. Halfway through the performance, there was another knock on my door. This time it was Ji Jing'an. His face was blue. Su Warning, are you crazy? As soon as he entered the door, he began to question. Why don't you help? I'm not feeling well. Where is it uncomfortable? I feel uncomfortable. I looked at him. I feel blocked when I see some people. Ji Jing'an was blocked by me and was speechless. Su Warning, what do you want to do? What do I want to do? I smiled. Ji Jing'an, you touch your conscience and ask yourself, we have been married for more than a year. Have you ever treated me as a wife one day? When didn't I take you as my wife? Then let me ask you, Lin Xiaoyu cut her hand yesterday. Why did you bandage her personally? It stands to reason that she is a nurse. Isn't it normal for her to treat her wounds by herself? Ji Jing'an's face changed. What nonsense are you talking about? She injured her hand. As a superior, I care about my subordinates. What's the problem? Care about your subordinates? I sneered. Then have you ever cared about other subordinates? Xiao Liu had a fever last time, and I don't think you took care of it personally. That's different. What's different? Because Xiao Liu is a man and Lin Xiaoyu is a woman. Ji Jing'an was speechless when I asked him. Su Warning, don't be unreasonable. Am I being unreasonable? I stood up, my voice very calm. Okay, then let's be reasonable. Ji Jing'an, from today onwards, I will no longer be your free nanny. Wash your clothes and cook your own food. I'm tired. Are you threatening me? It's not a threat, it's a notice. I looked at him. Also, I have sent a telegram to my brother and am going to go back to the provincial capital to live for a while. Ji Jing'an's face changed completely. You dare? Why don't I dare? You are a military sister-in-law and have the obligation to cooperate with my work. Then may I ask, I cooperate with your work, what reward do you give me? How many meals a month do you go home, or run to the health center at the end of 3 days? Ji Jing'an was blushing from me and couldn't speak for a long time. Finally, he coldly dropped a sentence, "Whatever you want." Then he slammed the door and left. I sat in my chair without a trace of waves in my heart. In my previous life, I would cry and go to him to apologize after every quarrel. Why should I apologize in this life? I didn't do anything wrong. In the evening, Zhong Shuhua came again, warning, "Did you quarrel with the chief?" She looked concerned. "No, we're fine." I smiled sweetly, "But the chief's face is ugly. And you didn't come to help in the afternoon." "Sister-in-law, let me ask you a question." I looked at her. "Do you think I should serve everyone unconditionally?" Zhong Shuhua was stunned for a moment. "How do you say this? I am the wife of the chief, not a waiter in the compound. Helping is love, not helping is duty. I'm tired and want to take a break. What's the problem?" Zhong Shuhua was told by me that I didn't know how to answer. In the past, Su Wanning was too talkative, rushing to do everything, and never refusing anyone's request. Over time, everyone took this for granted. Now that I'm quitting, it's my fault. "You're right," Zhong Shuhua sneered. "It's because we didn't think it through. You should have a good rest." After she left, I continued to read. This is a medical book, which I borrowed from the Health Institute. In my previous life, I was uneducated and disliked by Ji Jing'an. In this life, I want him to see how smart Su Wanning is. At 10 o'clock in the night, Ji Jing'an came back. He frowned when he saw that I was still reading. "You still don't sleep so late." "Learning, I don't even raise my head." "What's the use of learning this? Increase knowledge." I put down the book and looked at him. "It's more meaningful than some people revolve around the little nurse all day long." Ji Jing'an's face changed. "Can you stop thinking all the time?" "Am I thinking wildly?" I laughed. "Then tell me, where did you go this afternoon?" "There is something wrong with the troops." "What's the matter?" "Confidential." "I can't say it." I nodded. "Okay, I won't ask." Ji Jing'an thought I had compromised, and his face softened a little, but he heard me continue. "Since you are so busy, then I will pack my bags and go back to the provincial capital tomorrow, so as not to cause you trouble here." Su Wanning, Ji Jing'an was angry. "What do you want?" "I want a husband who tells the truth." I looked at him. "If we can't do it, let's separate." "Separate?" Ji Jing'an sneered. "Do you think you can find a better one without me?" "It doesn't matter if you can find a better one. The important thing is to leave someone who doesn't deserve it." This sentence was like a heavy hammer, smashing Ji Jing'an speechless. That night, none of us spoke again. But I know, this is just the beginning. B1001 B1001. Early the next morning, I really started packing. Ji Jing'an saw me tidying up my clothes before going to work, and his face was very ugly. "Are you serious?" "Of course." I folded my clothes. "I've already sent a telegram to my brother, and he asked me to go back as soon as possible. For that little nurse." "Are you leaving?" I stopped the movement in my hand and looked at him. "Ji Jing'an, you finally admit it." Ji Jing'an realized that he had leaked his words, and his face became even more ugly. "What do I admit? I just think you're too sensitive." "Sensitive?" I laughed. "What's wrong with a woman being sensitive to her husband's abnormal behavior?" "I don't behave abnormally." "No." "Then explain, why did you go home later and later after Lin Xiaoyu came? Why do you care about her? Why did you go to the health center again yesterday afternoon?" Ji Jing'an was speechless by my series of questions. After a long time, he said coldly, "I am her superior, and it is natural to care about my subordinates." "That's good." I continued to pack my bags. "Since you care so much about your subordinates, take more time to care for her." "My wife won't take up your precious time." Ji Jing'an's face turned blue with anger, but he couldn't find a reason to refute. Finally, he slammed the door and left, leaving a sentence, "Whatever you want." I looked at his back as he left, and there was no trace of reluctance in my heart. In my previous life, I gave up all my dignity in order to keep him. In this life, I want to be myself. At noon, a military jeep came to the entrance of the compound. A young man in military uniform got out of the car. It was my brother Su Jongwo. "Brother," I ran over excitedly. When Su Jongwo saw me, he had a doting smile on his face. "Warning, do you miss your brother?" I thought about it. I hugged his arm and acted coquettishly. I haven't seen my family for a long time. The military wives around us looked at us with envy. Su Jongwo was a famous young talent in the provincial military region with a bright future. Let's go, brother will take you home to take a look, Su Jongwo said gently. Wait, I'll go get my luggage. I turned back to the house. Jiyu Jing'an happened to come back from get off work, and was stunned for a moment when he saw the jeep in the yard. Whose car is that? My brother's, I calmly replied. He came to pick me up. Jiyu Jing'an's face changed instantly. Are you really leaving? What I said never counts. I walked out with my luggage, and Jiyu Jing'an chased me out. When Su Jongwo saw him, his face turned slightly cold. Comrade Jing'an, Commander Su. Jiyu Jing'an bit the bullet and greeted. Su Jongwo looked at Jiyu Jing'an, then looked at the luggage in my hand, and frowned, warning. Did you husband and wife quarrel? No, I smiled lightly. I just miss home. Go back and stay for a few days. Su Jongwo obviously didn't believe it, but it was not easy to ask in front of outsiders. Then let's go, your parents miss you. I sat in the co-pilot and saw Jiyu Jing'an standing there through the car window, his face ugly as a whim. The car started and gradually moved away from the compound, warning. Su Jongwo asked while driving, what happened to you and Jiyu Jing'an? Brother, what would you do if one day you found out that your sister-in-law had betrayed you? Su Jongwo slammed on the brakes. What do you mean? Jiyu Jing'an cheated. It's not that far yet, but it's obvious, I said calmly. He has someone else in his heart now. Bastard. Su Jongwo was so angry that his veins burst out. I knew he was not worthy of you. Brother, don't get excited, I comforted him. I have figured it out. The twisted melon is not sweet. But you are married. What about getting married? If you can't get along, you can leave, I said lightly. Anyway, I'm still young, so I don't have to worry about finding a better one. Su Jongwo looked at me, his eyes full of distress, warning. You have changed. Better or worse, strong. He reached out and touched my head. You used to cry when you encountered something, but now you are so calm. I smiled and didn't speak. Can you not calm down? They have all died once. The car stopped at the compound of the provincial military region, and I looked at the familiar door, feeling complicated. In my last life, when I married Jiyu Jing'an from here, I thought I would be happy for the rest of my life. Unexpectedly, he came back in circles. Warning is back. Mom. He Sholan heard the movement and ran out of the house. Mom, I threw myself into her arms, and tears welled up instantly. After being reborn, I have always been strong, but the moment I saw my mother, all the grievances came up. What's wrong? Why are you crying? He Sholan patted me on the back distressedly. Did Jiyu Jing'an bully you? No, I wiped away my tears. I'm just homesick. He Sholan obviously didn't believe it, but didn't ask. At dinner, his father Su Guozheng also came back. Seeing me, he was very happy. Why did Warning suddenly come back? Where is Jiyu Jing'an? He has something to do with his troops and can't leave. I lied. Su Guozheng nodded. Soldiers are like this. Work first. During the meal, the family was happy, but I could feel my parents' worries. They are not stupid and know that it is not normal for me to come back this time. In the evening, He Sholan came to my room, warning. Tell Mom, what's wrong with you and Jiyu Jing'an? I hesitated for a moment, but I said it briefly. After hearing this, He Sholan's face turned pale with anger. This has no conscience. Where is our Wan Ning not worthy of him? Mom, don't be angry. I comforted her. I've already thought about it. What do you want to open? You are husband and wife. How can he treat you like this? But he has someone else in his heart, so I can't tie him up. He Sholan looked at me, her eyes full of distress. My poor daughter. Mom, I can't be pitiful. I smiled. Leaving someone who doesn't love you is liberation. He Sholan wanted to say something, but I stopped her. Mom, I'm tired and want to rest. Okay, you go to bed early. If you have something to tell your mother, don't hold it in your heart. After He Sholan left, I lay on the bed and looked at the ceiling in a daze. What is Jiyu Jing'an doing now? Are you regretting or rejoicing? Forget it. Whatever he's doing has nothing to do with me. From today onwards, I want to live for myself. B1001 B1001. After living in the provincial capital for 3 days, I had a very comfortable life. chatting with my parents every day, helping my mother with housework, discussing current affairs with my brother, and living a fulfilling and peaceful life. On the morning of the fourth day, I was basking in the yard when I heard the sound of cars outside the door. Sholan went to open the door and quickly came back with a frown. Warning, Jiyu Jing'an is here. My heart tightened, but the surface was calm. Let him in. Soon, Jiyu Jing'an appeared in the yard. He was wearing a military uniform. His face was haggard, his eyes were bloodshot, and he looked like he hadn't rested well for several days. Warning, his voice was a little hoarse. Why are you here? I sat in my chair and didn't get up. Take you home, I'm fine here, I don't need you to pick me up. Jiyu Jing'an walked up to me in a somewhat eager tone. Warning, let's talk, there's nothing to talk about. I didn't even look at him. You should go back, I'm not leaving. Jiyu Jing'an's voice was very resolute. Unless you go back with me, then you can wait here. I stood up. I'm going to help Mom cook. Jiyu Jing'an looked at my back, a look of pain flashing in his eyes. At lunch, Su Guozheng invited Jiyu Jing'an to stay for dinner out of politeness. The atmosphere at the dinner table was very awkward, and everyone was tacitly observing their words and expressions. Jing'an, how is your work lately? Su Guozheng broke the silence. Very good. Jiyu Jing'an answered briefly. There is a new nurse in the regiment, and I heard that she is a top student who graduated from the health school, Su Zhongwo seemed to say casually. Jiyu Jing'an's hand paused obviously. Really, young people should learn more, Su Guozheng said lightly. I lowered my head to eat, pretending not to hear anything. After the meal, Jiyu Jing'an took the initiative to stay and wash the dishes. Sholan looked at his busy figure and softened her heart. Warning, why don't you have a good talk? Mom, there's nothing to talk about. I shook my head. Values are different. We can't continue. Sholan sighed and stopped persuading me. In the afternoon, Jiyu Jing'an sat in the yard waiting for me. I read in the house and occasionally saw him through the window. And I had mixed feelings. In his previous life, he had never waited for me so lowly. In this life, what made him change his attitude? In the evening, Su Zhongwo came back with a telegram in his hand. Warning, your telegram. I took it and saw that it was from the northern military region. The content of the telegram was very simple. Su Warning will return quickly. There is an emergency. Political Commissar. Jiyu Jing'an saw the telegram, and his face changed. What's the urgent? How do I know? I put the telegram on the table. Maybe someone reported me for leaving my post without permission. Jiyu Jing'an's face became even more ugly. It is a very serious matter for a military wife to leave her post without authorization, which can criticize education at best and affect her husband's future at worst. Warning, let's go back. His voice was a little pleading. Don't worry, we'll talk about it tomorrow, I replied lightly. That night, Jiyu Jing'an made do on the sofa in the living room. Early the next morning, he urged me to go back. If you don't go back, something will really happen. What's wrong? I asked. What else can they do to me? Warning, don't be willful, Jiyu Jing'an said anxiously. If this matter gets bigger, it will not be good for us. To us, I sneered. Jiyu Jing'an, do you still have the concept of us in your heart? Jiyu Jing'an was speechless by my question. In the end, under the persuasion of Su Zhongwo, I still agreed to go back. Warning, if he bullies you again, you will come back. Sholan reluctantly took my hand. Got it, Mom. Su Zhongwo drove us to the train station. Before getting in the car, he quietly said to me, Warning, if you really can't get by, get divorced. Our Su family doesn't lack you a bite to eat. I nodded. My heart was very warm. It feels good to have family support. On the train, Jiyu Jing'an and I sat opposite. He tried to speak several times, but was stopped by my coldness. In the end, he still couldn't help but speak. Warning, I know I was wrong. I looked up at him. What's wrong? I shouldn't. You shouldn't care too much about Lin Xiaoyu. What else? Jiyu Jing'an thought for a while. You shouldn't ignore your feelings. What else? What else? Jiyu Jing'an was a little impatient. I shook my head in disappointment. Jiyu Jing'an, you don't know what you are doing wrong at all. Then tell me, why should I tell you? I looked out the window. What you have done yourself. You know for yourself. Jiyu Jing'an was blocked by me and was speechless. The train traveled through the night. And the carriages were quiet, only the sound of the tracks crashing. I looked at the scenery flying by outside the window, and my heart was very calm. No matter what I face when I go back, I will not compromise again. In this life, I want to live my life. B1001 B1001. When I returned to the Northern Military District, it was already 9 o'clock in the evening. The political commissar's office was still lit and obviously waiting for us. Political commissar, we're back. Jiu Jingen knocked on the door and went in. The political commissar was a middle-aged man in his 50s who looked serious. Comrade Su Warning, do you know what mistake you made? I don't know, I answered truthfully. The political commissar frowned, leaving your post without authorization, affecting unity. You still don't know it's wrong, political commissar. I just went home to visit relatives. What's wrong? You need to report to visit relatives. Have you called? My husband can take leave on my behalf. I looked at Jiu Jingen. He agreed to let me go home. Jiu Jingen's face was ugly, but he didn't dare to refute. The political commissar looked at the two of them, and his tone softened a little. Xiaosu, it is normal for young couples to have conflicts. But they can't be arrogant. You are a military wife, so you must focus on the overall situation. Political commissar, what is the overall situation? I asked. Of course. It is to cooperate with my husband's work and maintain the image of the army. Then what should I do if my husband does something that damages the image of the army? The political commissar was stunned for a moment. What do you mean? I glanced at Jiu Jingen. Political commissar, I want to report someone for violating military discipline. Warning. Jiu Jingen's face changed drastically. Report what? The political commissar asked seriously. Report that someone used his power to sexually harass female subordinates. The office was instantly quiet. Jiu Jingen's face was as white as paper. The political commissar looked at me and then at Jiu Jingen. This is a very serious accusation. Do you have any evidence? Political commissar. You can investigate. Jiu Jingen has often been alone with Lin Xiaoyu in the health center recently, and he cares about her very much. Is this behavior in line with military discipline? The political commissar's face also changed. The most taboo thing in the army is this kind of thing. Comrade Jingen, how do you explain? Jiu Jingen's lips trembled for a long time before he said, Political commissar, I just care about my subordinates. I don't mean anything else. Care about your subordinates. I sneered. Then why only care about her? Have you ever cared about other nurses being injured? Jiu Jingen was speechless when asked. The political commissar's face became more and more ugly. Comrade Jingen, tomorrow you will write an inspection detailing the process of this matter. Yes, Jiu Jingen replied with his head down. Also, starting tomorrow, you are not allowed to contact Comrade Lin Xiaoyu alone. Yes, Comrade Su Warning. You have handled this matter correctly. A military wife should supervise her husband's behavior. I nodded. Thank you for your understanding, political commissar. Coming out of the political commissar's office, Jiu Jingen's face was extremely ugly. Su Warning, are you crazy? I'm not crazy, I'm sober. I looked at him. Jiu Jingen, I warn you, stay away from Lin Xiaoyu in the future. Otherwise, I will continue to report. What good is it for us to do this? Good for me. I turned around and walked home. At least I don't have to worry about my husband cheating. Jiu Jingen followed me, wanting to say something but not daring to say. When I got home, I went straight into the bedroom. Jiu Jingen stood outside the door for a long time, and finally knocked on the door. Warning, let's talk. There's nothing to talk about, I said through the door. Reflect on your actions. I admit I was wrong, but you can't retaliate against me like that. Revenge. I opened the door and looked at him. Jiu Jingen, I'm just protecting my marriage. If this is called revenge, it means that you have a ghost in your heart. Jiu Jingen was blushed by me. I don't have a ghost in my heart. That's good. I closed the door again. Since you don't have one, then do your job honestly. Don't think about what you have or don't have. That night, Jiu Jingen sat in the living room all night. Early the next morning, when he went to work, his face was haggard and his eyes were bloodshot. I saw it in my eyes, and there was no trace of distress in my heart. How many times did I cry for him in my last life? Now it was his turn to experience the pain. At noon, Zhong Shuhua came to me again. Warning, I heard that you went to see the political commissar yesterday. Well, deal with something. I replied lightly. What's the matter? She asked curiously. Military secrets, you can't say it. Zhong Shuhua was blocked by me and didn't know how to answer. In the afternoon, I went to the health center to borrow books. When Lin Xiaoyu saw me, his face was a little unnatural. Mrs. Chief, she whispered to me. Comrade Kobayashi. I smiled and nodded. Are you feeling better? It's much better. Thank you for your concern. That's good. I looked at her. Young people should pay attention to safety and don't get hurt all the time. Lin Xiaoyu's face blushed. I know. I borrowed a few medical books and turned to leave. As I walked to the door, I looked back at her. This girl is indeed beautiful and innocent. In her previous life, she may really not know that she was destroying other people's families. But in this life, I will not give her a chance. B1001 B1001. In the next few days, Jiyu Jing'an became cautious. He went home on time to eat, took the initiative to help with housework, and became polite towards me. But I know that this is only superficial effort. On the 5th night, he finally couldn't help it. Warning, let's talk. What are you talking about? I put down the book in my hand. I want to know, what exactly do you want? What do I want? I looked at him. I want a loyal husband, dedicated love. Is this requirement excessive? I've always been loyal to you. Really? I sneered. Then what is your concern for Lin Xiaoyu? I said it. It's just a concern for my subordinates, Jiyu Jing'an. Do you think I'm a fool? I stood up. Can a man's care for a woman be the same as a superior's concern for his subordinates? Jiyu Jing'an was speechless when I asked him. Let me tell you, Jiyu Jing'an. I looked at him. I'm not the little girl who didn't understand anything back then. I know what love is, what is perfunctory, what is betrayal. I didn't betray you, no. Then do you dare to swear that you don't have the slightest bit of love for Lin Xiaoyu? Jiyu Jing'an's face changed, and he couldn't speak for a long time. I looked at his expression and my heart calmed down. It seems that you don't dare to swear yourself. Warning, emotional matters are very complicated. It's not complicated. I interrupted him. Either love or don't. There are no intermediate options. But we're already married. Marriage is not a reason for bondage, let alone an excuse for betrayal. I looked at him. Jiyu Jing'an, if you really fall in love with someone else, I can fulfill you. Jiyu Jing'an was stunned. What do you mean? I mean it's simple, I said calmly. You love each other, I bless, but please divorce me first. Divorce? Jiyu Jing'an's face changed drastically. Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. I shook my head. I just want a clean love. Su Warning. Do you know what divorce means? It means freedom. I smiled. No need to look at my husband's face anymore. No need to worry about being betrayed. No longer need to wrong myself. Isn't this good? Jiyu Jing'an looked at me, his eyes full of shock. He never thought that the docile Su Warning would say such a thing. Warning, you have really changed. Yes, I have changed. I nodded. I no longer wronged myself. That night, none of us spoke again. The next day, when Jiyu Jing'an went to work, his face was terribly gloomy. At noon, I was cooking at home when there was a knock on the door. When I opened the door, it was Lin Xiaoyu. She was wearing a nurse's uniform. Her face was a little pale, and her eyes were full of grievances. Mrs. Chief, can I come in and sit down? Of course. I stepped aside. Please come in. Lin Xiaoyu sat on the sofa, looking nervous. Mrs. Chief, I want to talk to you. What are you talking about? About me and the chief? Her voice was quiet. I know you misunderstood. Misunderstanding. I laughed. What did I misunderstand? I really don't have anything with the chief, Lin Xiaoyu eagerly explained. He just treated me well. I didn't think about ruining your feelings either. I know. I nodded. You're a good girl. Lin Xiaoyu was stunned for a moment. Then why are you? Why report? I looked at her. Because I want to protect my marriage, but we really didn't do anything excessive. Not yet. It doesn't mean there won't be one in the future. I said calmly. Lin Xiaoyu, do you like my husband? Lin Xiaoyu's face turned red instantly, and he hesitated and couldn't speak. It seems that you like it. I smiled. What about my husband? Does he like you? I do not know. You know, I looked at her. A man wouldn't care so much about you if he didn't like you. Lin Xiaoyu lowered his head, tears rolling in his eyes. Mrs. Chief, What should I do? It's simple. I handed her a tissue. Apply for transfer and get out of here. What? Lin Xiaoyu looked up at me. As long as you leave, all problems will be solved. But I don't want to leave. Then you want to destroy my family. My tone cooled. No, I don't mean that. Lin Xiaoyu was frightened. Then apply for transfer. I looked at her. This is a good choice for all three of us. Lin Xiaoyu cried. But I can't bear it. What are you reluctant to do? Can't bear to have a husband who is married. I sneered. Lin Xiaoyu, you are still young, and there is still a long way to go. Is it worth ruining your reputation for a man who doesn't belong to you? Lin Xiaoyu cried even harder. I looked at her, feeling a little unbearable. But my position could not be shaken. Go back and think about it. I stood up and said, I'll give you 3 days. What if I don't leave? Then I'll continue to report, I said calmly. At that time, your reputation will really be ruined. Lin Xiaoyu's face turned pale. He stood up and staggered away, looking at her back. I sighed. In my previous life, I regarded her as an enemy. In this life, I regarded her as a little girl who was carried away by love. But no matter what, I won't let her destroy my family. B1001 B1001. That night, Jiyu Jing'an came home with a very ugly face. Su Warning. What did you say to Lin Xiaoyu? Didn't say anything, I replied lightly. I just chatted. She came to me crying and said that you asked her to apply for a transfer. Yes, I nodded. Isn't that great? Out of sight, not troubled. Why did you let her go? Jiyu Jing'an was angry. She is a good nurse and shouldn't leave because of your cranky thoughts. Crazy. I looked at him. Jiyu Jing'an, is it normal for you to quarrel with your wife for a subordinate? Jiyu Jing'an was speechless by my question. Let me tell you, Jiyu Jing'an. I stood up. Either she goes or I go. You choose. You're forcing me. Yes, I'm just forcing you. I looked at him. Is it difficult to choose between a wife and other women? Jiyu Jing'an was silent for a long time, and finally said, I need time to think about it. Give you 3 days. I turned around and walked to the bedroom. Give me the answer in 3 days. That night, I slept peacefully. The next day, I went to the vegetable market to buy groceries and met Zhong Shuhua. Warning, I heard that the little nurse in the health center is going to be transferred. Really, I do not know. I pretended not to care. Everyone is spreading that she applied for it herself. Zhong Shuhua looked at me curiously. Do you know why? Maybe I want to change the environment. I picked vegetables. Young people like to toss. Zhong Shuhua wanted to say something, but I perfunctorily passed it. In the afternoon, I was reading at home when I heard the sound of a car outside the door. Looking through the window, it was the commissar's car. Soon, the political commissar and Jiyu Jing'an entered the courtyard together. Comrade Su Warning, can you talk? The political commissar's expression was very serious. Of course, I put down the book. The political commissar said, that's right. After the political commissar sat down, he said, Comrade Lin Xiaoyu applied for transfer, and I want to know the situation. What does her application for transfer have to do with me? I asked in confusion. She said you suggested she do this. I did suggest it, I nodded, but it's for her good, for her own good. The political commissar frowned. Political commissar, do you think that a young female nurse who has too close a relationship with her married male superiors is good for her reputation? The political commissar was stunned for a moment and looked at Jiyu Jing'an. Jiyu Jing'an's face was ugly. I'm here to protect her, I continued. If the rumors continue, her reputation will be ruined. You have a point. The political commissar nodded. However, Comrade Jing'an should also pay attention and keep an appropriate distance from his female subordinates. Yes, political commissar. Jiyu Jing'an lowered his head. After the political commissar left, Jiyu Jing'an stood in the yard for a long time. Finally, he came up to me. Warning, you won. It's not a matter of winning or losing. I looked at him and said, it's a matter of right and wrong. She's really leaving. Jiyu Jing'an's voice was very low. Isn't that great? I can't bear it, he said suddenly. This sentence was like a knife, piercing into my heart, but my expression was still calm. I know you are reluctant. You know, Jiyu Jing'an looked up at me. Of course I know. I smiled. A man, if he has feelings for a woman, of course he will be reluctant. Then why are you? Why do you want her to go? I interrupted him. Because I don't want to do airbags. Ji Jing'an looked at me, his eyes full of mixed emotions. Warning. I don't know how to face you, it's simple. I stood up and said, either be my husband well or we break up peacefully. I don't want to break up, then forget about her. I looked at him. From today onwards, I am the only one in my heart. Can it be done? Ji Jing'an was silent for a long time, and finally nodded. I'll try. It's not a try, it's a must. My tone was very resolute. Ji Jing'an, I'll give you one last chance. If you let me down again, I will leave without hesitation. Ji Jing'an looked at my resolute expression and finally understood that I was not joking. This wife, who was once as docile as a sheep, has really changed. She became assertive, principled, and had a bottom line, and such a change made him panic and, heart, B1001. Lin Xiaoyu's transfer procedures were quickly completed, and she was transferred to a military hospital in the provincial capital. On the day she left, she came to say goodbye to me. Mrs. Chief, I'm leaving. Her eyes were red. And she had obviously cried. Be careful on the road, I said gently. Work hard in a new place. Thank you. She bowed deeply. I know you are for my good. I nodded and didn't speak. Madam Chief, I have a question for you. What's the problem? Don't you really hate me? Lin Xiaoyu's voice was very low. I thought for a while and shook my head. I don't hate you. Why? Because you didn't do anything wrong. I looked at her and said, it's not wrong to like someone. It's wrong not to like a married person. Lin Xiaoyu's tears flowed down again. Mrs. Chief, you are so good. It's not my good, it's me tired. I sighed. I'm too tired to hate anyone anymore. After Lin Xiaoyu left, the compound was much calmer. Ji Jing'an was depressed for several days. But he tried to behave normally in front of me. He began to come home on time, took the initiative to do housework, and became gentle and considerate to me. But I know that he is still thinking about Lin Xiaoyu in his heart. It made me tired and disappointed. A month later, I received a letter. The letter was sent from the provincial capital, and the sender was Su Jiongwo. When I opened it, I found a photo and a letter inside. The photo shows a young man in military uniform, handsome and extraordinary. The letter reads, W.N. Ning, this is my colleague Fang Jiyuan, a surgeon in a military hospital, with a good character and a good family background. He has seen your photos and has a good impression. If you're interested, consider meeting up. Brother, I looked at the photo with mixed feelings. Brother, are you introducing me to someone? It means that he has acknowledged that Ji Jing'an and I will not have a good result. What letter? Ji Jing'an's voice sounded behind him. I turned to look at him and handed the photo. Look, Ji Jing'an took the photo, and his face changed instantly. Who is this? The object my brother introduced me. I said calmly, object. Ji Jing'an's voice raised an octave. You haven't divorced yet, but sooner or later we will get divorced. I looked at him. It's good to know in advance. Su warning. Ji Jing'an's face turned blue with anger. You are betraying. Betrayal, I sneered. Ji Jing'an. Are you qualified to say that I betrayed? I didn't betray you. Then what is Lin Xiaoyu? Nothing happened to me and her. Just because it didn't happen doesn't mean you don't have her in your heart. I looked at him. Ji Jing'an. Do you dare to say that you don't have her in your heart? Ji Jing'an opened his mouth and finally said nothing. You see, you don't dare to deny it yourself. I smiled. Since you have someone else in your heart, why can't I plan for myself? But we are husband and wife. Yes, we are still husband and wife. I nodded, but that doesn't prevent me from understanding the possibilities of the future. Ji Jing'an looked at me, his eyes full of anger and panic. Are you really going to divorce me? If you can't love me wholeheartedly, then divorce is the best choice. I can love you wholeheartedly, Ji Jing'an said eagerly. Give me time. And I will forget her. Time. I shook my head. Ji Jing'an. Feelings are not resolved by time. You either love or you don't. I love you, he said loudly. You love me. I looked at him. Then tell me, what is my favorite dish? Ji Jing'an was stunned for a moment. What? Let me ask you, what is my favorite dish? This, sweet and sour ribs, he said uncertainly. Wrong. I shook my head. It's braised pork. Then what color do you like the most? Blue. Wrong. It's white. I asked a few questions in a row, but Ji Jing'an couldn't answer any of them correctly. Look, you don't even know my most basic preferences. You say you love me. Ji Jingen's face became more and more ugly. These details don't matter. It's not important, I interrupted him. Isn't loving someone just starting with knowing these details? But we've been married for more than a year. Yes, I've been married for more than a year, and you don't know me as well as a stranger. I looked at him. Does this kind of love make sense? Ji Jingen was speechless by me. That night, none of us spoke again. The next day, I received a letter from Fang Jiyuan. The letter is short but sincere. Hello, Miss Su, I am Fang Jiyuan, and I learned about your situation from Brother Zhongwo. If you don't mind, I would like to communicate with you and learn more about each other. We look forward to hearing from you. Fang Jiyuan. I looked at the letter and felt a little touched. A stranger knows how to respect more than my husband. I picked up the pen and began to reply, B1001 B1001. In the days that followed, Fang Jiyuan and I began to correspond. His letters are well written, neatly handwritten and gentle. And he shares his life and thoughts in detail every time. And for the first time, I experienced the feeling of being treated seriously. Fang Jiyuan will ask me what colors I like, what dishes I like to eat, and what my hobbies are. Ji Jingen has never asked these questions. A month later, Fang Jiyuan proposed to meet him. I hesitated for a long time and finally agreed. The agreed location was a cafe in the provincial capital. I told Ji Jingan that I was going to the provincial capital to see my parents. He wanted to go with him, but I refused. I want to be alone and quietly. Ji Jingen looked at me, his eyes full of reluctance and worry, warning, can't we really start over? Start over? I looked at him. Ji Jingen. What do you think can start over between us? We are husband and wife. Yes, we are husband and wife, I nodded. But you have someone else in your heart. I have someone else in my heart. Is there any point in such a relationship between husband and wife? Do you have someone else in your heart? Ji Jingen's face changed drastically. Is that Fang Jiyuan? Maybe, I said lightly. At least he made me feel valued. Ji Jingen's fists were clenched tightly. But in the end he didn't say anything. I got on the train to the provincial capital. The scenery outside the car window flew by, but my mood was very calm. This time, I am not running away, but looking for new possibilities. When I arrived in the provincial capital, I went home first. My parents were very happy to see me. Warning, you're losing weight again. He Xiaolan touched my face distressedly. It's too tiring to work. I lied. Where is Ji Jingen? Why didn't you come with you? Su Guozheng asked. He has something to do with his troops and can't leave. The parents looked at each other and did not ask again. In the afternoon, I went to the agreed cafe. Fang Jiyuan had already arrived, sitting by the window and waiting for me. He looks better than in the photo, gentle and elegant. And at first glance he looks like a well-educated person. Miss Su, he stood up and greeted politely. Dr. Fang. I smiled and sat down. Just call me Jiyuan. His voice was gentle. You are more beautiful than in the photo. I blushed a little. Thank you. We talked for a long time, from work to interests, from ideals to reality. Fang Jiyuan is knowledgeable, talks extraordinary, and is very good at listening. He listened carefully to me, nodding in response from time to time. His eyes full of focus and tenderness. This feeling of being taken seriously almost brought to tears. Warning, can I call you that? Fang Jiyuan asked softly. Of course. Zhongwo told me about your situation. His tone was very gentle. I know you haven't divorced yet, but I'm willing to wait for you. My heart warmed. Jiyuan, why are you willing to wait for a married woman? Because I believe that those who deserve it are worth the wait. He looked at me, and I can feel that you are not happy. I lowered my head, tears almost flowing. Yes, I am indeed unhappy. My marriage to Ji Jingan made me feel tired and desperate. Warning, if you want, we can slowly get to know it. Fang Jiyuan stretched out his hand and shook my hand lightly. I'm not in a hurry. Time will tell. At that moment, I felt the warmth I hadn't seen for a long time. When I returned to the northern military district, it was already 3 days later. Ji Jingen was waiting for me at the gate of the compound, and when he saw me get out of the car, he quickly came over. You're back. His voice was a little choked. I responded lightly. How is your time in the provincial capital? Very good. Ji Jingen wanted to ask something, But seeing my cold expression, he didn't say anything in the end. When I got home, I started packing my things. What are you doing? Ji Jing'an asked nervously. Sort out some things you don't need. I folded some clothes and prepared to donate them to those in need. Ji Jing'an looked at my movements and felt more and more panicked. Warning, have you seen that Fang Jiyuan? I stopped moving in my hand and looked at him. I've seen it. How does it feel? Very good. I continued to organize things. He's a nice guy, better than me. I looked up at him. Ji Jing'an, what do you think? Ji Jing'an's face turned pale. Warning, I know I didn't do well before, but please give me another chance. Chance? I put down the clothes in my hand. Ji Jing'an, I have given you many chances. This time it's different. I'm serious. Seriously, I sneered. When have you not been serious? The problem is, your seriousness only lasts 3 minutes. Ji Jing'an was speechless by me. It's true that he's been working hard for the past month, but I can feel his reluctance. He is suppressing his longing for Lin Xiaoyu and forcing himself to be good to me. What is the meaning of such a relationship? Warning, I admit that I still think of her in my heart, but I will try to forget it. Try to forget. I looked at him. Does love need to be forgotten? If you really love me, do you still need to work hard to forget others? Ji Jing'an opened his mouth and finally said nothing. Ji Jing'an, I'm tired. I sat on the edge of the bed. I don't want to maintain this fake marriage anymore. What is false? We are a legal couple. But no emotional basis. I looked at him. You have someone else in your heart, and I have someone else in my heart. What's the point of such a husband and wife relationship? Do you really like that Fang Jiyuan? I was silent for a while and nodded. Maybe. Ji Jing'an's face turned blue. You have only known each other for a few days. Yes, it's only been a few days. I smiled. But these days, he cares more about me than you have cared about in a year. This sentence was like a heavy hammer, slamming Ji Jing'an. He staggered back a few steps and sat down in his chair. Warning, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Yes, you were wrong. I looked at him. But if you miss it, you miss it. And if you lose something, you can't get it back. What is it? My love for you. I said calmly. Ji Jing'an, I used to love you so much and was willing to do anything for you. But you take my love for granted and my efforts as cheap service. Ji Jing'an's eyes were red. I know I don't deserve your love. Yes, you don't deserve it, I interrupted him. So I'm going to give my love to someone who deserves it. That night, Ji Jing'an cried all night in the living room. I saw him through the crack of the door, and I didn't feel a trace of distress in my heart. Some pain is self-inflicted. B1001 B1001. The next morning, Ji Jing'an did not go to work. He sat in the living room, his eyes red and swollen, his beard unkempt. And he looked haggard. Warning, let's talk. His voice was hoarse. What are you talking about? About our future? We have no future. I said calmly. Ji Jing'an, accept the reality. I don't accept it. He suddenly became excited. I don't accept you falling in love with someone else. You don't accept it. I sneered. Then do you accept that you fall in love with someone else? I didn't fall in love with her. You didn't. I looked at him. Then why were you sad for so long when she left? Why are you still thinking about her now? Ji Jing'an was speechless by my question. Ji Jing'an, be honest. I looked at him. At least be honest with yourself. Okay, I admit that I have feelings for her. Ji Jing'an finally told the truth, but I can restrain myself. I can give up her for you. Restraint, abandon. I shook my head. Love is not like this. True love comes naturally, does not require restraint, does not need to give up. Then you are natural to that Fang Jiyuan. Yes, I nodded. With him, I am very relaxed and happy. Don't worry about being left out or betrayed. Ji Jing'an's face became more and more ugly. Warning, I beg you, give me another chance. I've already given it a chance. I stood up. Now, I want to work hard for my own happiness. What do you mean? I'm going to divorce you. I looked at him. Then with Jiyuan, no. Ji Jing'an stood up suddenly. I don't agree to the divorce. Disagree. I sneered. Ji Jing'an, this is my right. I don't need your consent. I am your husband. I have the right to disagree. Husband. I looked at him. What qualifications does a husband who has someone else in his heart to stop his wife from looking for happiness? Ji Jing'an was speechless by me. And I continued, if you don't agree, I'll tell the political commissar about you and Lin Xiaoyu, and let the organization judge who is right and who is wrong. Jiyu Jing'an's face turned pale. Do you dare to threaten me? It's not a threat, it's a fact. I looked at him. Jiyu Jing'an, you choose, either divorce decently, or make a mess in the city. Jiyu Jing'an looked at me, his eyes full of despair. He never thought that the docile Su Wanning would become so resolute. I need time to think about it. Give you a week. I looked at my watch. In a week, I want your answer. That week, Jiyu Jing'an seemed to have changed as a person. He revolved around me every day, asking for warmth, making all kinds of delicious food, and buying all kinds of small gifts. But my heart is dead. Some feelings cannot be retrieved if you miss them. A week later, Jiyu Jing'an handed me a document with red eyes. It's a divorce agreement. His voice trembled. I've signed. I took the document and looked at it. The agreement is simple. The house is given to me. The deposit is divided equally. There are no other requirements. Thank you. I signed my name. Jiyu Jing'an watched me sign, and tears finally flowed. Warning, I really regret it. If regret is useful, there will be no regrets in the world. I put away the agreement. Jiyu Jing'an, I wish you true happiness. My happiness is you. No, your happiness is Lin Xiaoyu. I looked at him. Go find her. While she hasn't completely forgotten you. Jiyu Jing'an was stunned. I mean, everyone should pursue the life they want. I stood up. You want her. I want freedom. Isn't that great? Jiyu Jing'an looked at me, his eyes full of mixed emotions, gratitude, guilt, reluctance, and relief. Warning, if there is a next life, there is no next life. I interrupted him. Jiyu Jing'an, cherish this life. On the day I completed the divorce procedures, I sent a telegram to Fang Jiyuan. Jiyuan, I'm free. Warning, soon. I received a call back. Congratulations, my bride. Jiyuan, looking at this telegram, I smiled. Yes, I am finally free. Freedom to love a worthy person and freedom to pursue one's own happiness. B1001 B1001. On the third day after the divorce, I packed my bags and prepared to leave the military compound. This place carries too many painful memories for me. Now that I'm leaving, I feel more relaxed than ever. Zhong Shuhua came to see me off, her eyes full of reluctance. Warning, are you really leaving? Well, start a new life, I said with a smile. I heard that you are going to marry the doctor in the provincial capital. Yes, I nodded. He's a very good person. Zhong Shuhua looked at me and wanted to speak. Just say anything. I encourage her. Warning, in fact, we can all see that the chief loves you. Love me. I shook my head. If you love me, there will be no Lin Xiaoyu thing. But he is in pain now, drinking every day and not eating. That was his choice, I calmly said. Everyone is responsible for their own choices. Zhong Shuhua sighed. Maybe you're right. The car came, and it was sent by Su Zhongwo to pick me up. I got into the car with my luggage and looked back at the place where I had lived for more than a year. Jiyu Jing'an stood not far away, looking at me silently. Our eyes met in the air. And he wanted to come over, but I shook his head to stop me. His voice was very low, but I still heard it. I smiled at him and didn't speak. Some words are useless to say. The car started and gradually moved away from the military compound. I didn't look back, because I knew that there was nothing to miss there. On the train, I wrote a letter to Fang Jiyuan. Jiyuan, I've left that place. We will be able to meet soon and I am looking forward to our future. After writing the letter, I looked at the scenery flying by outside the window, feeling more relaxed than ever. Reborn once. I finally learned to live for myself. When I arrived in the provincial capital, Fang Jiyuan came to pick me up in person. When he saw me, a warm smile appeared on his face. Warning, welcome home, go home. I repeated these two words, and my heart warmed. Yes, with him, there is home everywhere. Our wedding was simple, with only 2 families attending. But I feel happy because this is my life of choice. At the wedding, Fang Jiyuan said to me, Warning, thank you for giving me the opportunity to love you for the rest of my life. I nodded with tears in my eyes. Thank you for making me believe in love again. Offstage, the parents laughed and cried. They were happy that I could find true happiness. On the wedding night, Fang Jiyuan hugged me gently. Warning, forget the past, we only look at the future. Okay, I leaned into his arms. From today onwards, I belong to you alone. This night, I slept very peacefully, no worries, no fears, only full happiness and security. When he woke up the next day, Fang Jiyuan had already prepared breakfast. My bride, get up and eat. Looking at his busy figure, I suddenly thought of Jiyu Jing'an. He never made breakfast for me, and he didn't even care if I ate or not. Fang Jiyuan, on the other hand, regards these as daily routines. That's the difference. The person who loves you will put you in the most important place in their hearts. People who don't love you, you can't even be considered a supporting role in his life. During breakfast, Fang Jiyuan asked me, warning, do you want to continue studying, reading? Yes. I think you're smart and shouldn't waste all your time on housework. My heart warmed. Jiyu Jing'an always disliked me for being uneducated, but he never encouraged me to study. Fang Jiyuan, on the other hand, took the initiative to suggest that I improve myself. I want to study medicine. I said, be a doctor like you. Good idea. Fang Jiyuan smiled. I can be your teacher. In this way, I started a new life. He studied medicine with Fang Jiyuan during the day and helped him sort out his medical records at night. Although it was tiring, I felt fulfilled, because I am working hard for a better version of myself. B1001. Half a year later, I received a letter from the Northern Military District. The sender is Zhong Shuhua. When I took it apart, it read, warning, let me tell you a piece of news. Jiyu Jing'an applied for transfer to the provincial military hospital, and I heard that it was to recover Lin Xiaoyu. But I heard that Lin Xiaoyu already has a boyfriend and is a very good doctor. Jiyu Jing'an is in pain now, and he gets drunk every day. Seeing him like this, we all felt distressed, but we also knew that this was his own fault. How are you doing now? I heard you are studying medicine. I'm really happy for you. After reading the letter, I had mixed feelings. Jiyu Jing'an finally went to pursue the person he really wanted. Although the result was not as good as he wanted, at least he was brave once. What letter? Fang Jiyuan came over and asked. Letter from a friend. I put the letter away. Talk about something from the past. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. I shook my head. Let the past pass. Fang Jiyuan nodded and didn't ask again. That's what he does, never interfering too much with my past. He believed in me and gave me plenty of space. Another month later, when I was interning at the hospital, I met a familiar figure. It's Lin Xiaoyu. She was wearing a nurse's uniform. Still so young and beautiful, but her face was more mature. Seeing me, she was stunned for a moment, and then took the initiative to come over. Sue, no, you should call Mrs. Fang now, just call me Warning. I smiled and said, how are you? I'm fine. She also smiled. I heard that you are studying medicine. Yes, I want to learn some skills. We found a quiet place to sit and chat. Sister Warning, I want to apologize to you. Lin Xiaoyu's voice was very low. It was I who destroyed your family. You didn't destroy anything. I shook my head. Emotional matters can't be forced. But, Xiaoyu, let me ask you a question. I looked at her. Are you happy now? Very happy. A happy smile appeared on her face. I have a boyfriend, and he treats me very well. That's enough. I laughed. Isn't it great that we have all found our own happiness? Lin Xiaoyu looked at me, his eyes full of gratitude. Sister Warning, you are really kind. It's not kindness, it's looking away. I stood up. Xiaoyu, cherish the happiness now. You too. When I was leaving, Lin Xiaoyu suddenly stopped me. Sister Warning, Chief Jiyu, is he okay? I turned to look at her. Are you still thinking about him? No, it is not. She hurriedly shook her head. I'm just a little worried. He's fine. I told a white lie. I am pursuing my new life. Lin Xiaoyu breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. When I got home, I told Fang Jiyuan about this chance encounter. It seems that your ex-husband still hasn't forgotten her. Yes, I nodded, but that's no longer my business. You won't be soft-hearted, will you? Fang Jiyuan was a little worried. No. I shook my head. Jiyuan, the person I love is you, just you. Fang Jiyuan pulled me into his arms. Me too. I only love you alone in this life. Listening to his promise, I felt more secure than ever. This is true love. No need to guess, no need to temptate, just so sure and so reassuring. A year later. I successfully obtained my medical qualification certificate. Fang Jiyuan held a celebration party for me and invited many friends. Let's toast to the success of Dr. Warning. Everyone raised their glasses and celebrated me. At that moment, I felt a sense of accomplishment like never before. I am no longer a military wife who is attached to my husband for survival, but an independent doctor. I have my own career, my own value. More importantly, I have a husband who truly loves me and supports me. After the celebration, Fang Jiyuan said to me, "Warning, I am proud of you." "Thank you, Jiyuan." I leaned into his arms. "Thank you for making me a better version of myself. This is what I should do." He stroked my hair. "To love someone is to make her better." Yes, that's the true meaning of love. It is not possession, not bondage, but fulfillment, support. B1001 B1001. 2 years later, Fang Jiyuan and I had our own children. Is a lovely daughter, who looks like me, but has Fang Jiyuan's gentle personality. Watching her sleep quietly in the cradle made me feel happier than ever. "Our little princess is so beautiful," Fang Jiyuan said softly. "Yes," I nodded. "I hope she can meet a good man like her father when she grows up." "Then she has to be lucky," Fang Jiyuan joked, "because there aren't many good men like me." We all laughed. Yes, I was really lucky. In the most desperate time, I met him. It made me believe in love again and find myself again. One day, my daughter fell asleep, and Fang Jiyuan suddenly said to me, "Warning, if your ex-husband wants to see you one day, will you agree?" I thought for a while. Why should I see you? Maybe he wants to apologize, maybe he wants to be forgiven. Apologize? I shook my head. No need. Let the past pass. You really don't hate him at all. I don't hate it. I looked out the window. It's too tiring to hate someone. I don't want to waste time. Fang Jiyuan nodded. You're right, resentment only consumes itself. And, I continued, I would not have met you without his betrayal. In a way, I also want to thank him. Thank him? Yes, I smiled. Thank you to him for letting me see clearly what true love is and what is worth it. Fang Jiyuan pulled me into his arms. Warning, you have really become wise. It was you who made me wise. I leaned on his chest. Love makes people grow. Then I want to thank you too. Thank you for me. Thank you for choosing me and giving me the opportunity to love you for the rest of my life. Listening to his words, my heart warmed. Yes, we are all lucky. At the right time, I met the right person. 3 years later, we had another son. A son and a daughter. Just put together the word good, a successful life, a successful career, and a happy love. I think this is the life I want. One day, my daughter pointed to the photo on my dresser and asked, "Mom, who is this?" That was a wedding photo of me and Fang Jiyuan. "It's Dad and Mom," I told her. "Dad is so handsome, Mom is so beautiful." The daughter smiled and said, "You will never be separated." Right, never. I hugged her, because we really love each other. What is true love? I thought for a while. True love is to put the other person in the most important position in your heart no matter when. Then do Mom and Dad really love each other? Yes, I affirmed. We truly love each other. The daughter nodded in satisfaction. At that moment, I suddenly thought of Jiyu Jing'an. I don't know how he is now. Have you found your own happiness? Will you still remember our past marriage? However, none of this matters. The important thing is that I am happy now. I have a husband who loves me, a pair of lovely children, and a career of my own. That's enough. B1001 B1001. 5 years later, I met an unexpected patient in the hospital. When I pushed open the door of the ward and saw the people on the bed, I was stunned. It is Jiyu Jing'an. He was much thinner than before, his face was pale, and his eyes did not have the look of the past. When he saw me, he was also stunned. Warning, his voice was weak. "Hello, Mr. Jiyu. I maintain professional courtesy. I am your attending doctor." Are you a doctor?" He looked at me in disbelief. "Yes," I nodded. "Now start checking the condition." I carefully examined him, recorded his condition, and kept a professional distance throughout the process. Advanced cirrhosis. I told him truthfully, it was caused by long-term alcoholism. Jiyu Jing'an smiled bitterly. "I know, quit drinking, nourish your liver, and review regularly," I prescribed. Take the medicine strictly according to the doctor's instructions. Warning, What did he want to say? I am your doctor. Please call me doctor. I interrupted him. Ji Jing'an looked at me, his eyes full of mixed emotions. Okay, Dr. Fang. I turned to leave, but he stopped me again. Dr. Fang, can I ask you a question? What's the problem? How are you? I stopped and looked back at him. Very good, that's good. He nodded. You deserve the best life. I didn't speak anymore and left the ward directly. In the corridor, Fang Jiyuan happened to pick me up from work. What's wrong? The face is not very good, he asked with concern. I met an old acquaintance. I said it briefly. Is it him? Fang Jiyuan frowned. Do you need to change doctors? No, I shook my head. As a doctor, I will be responsible for all patients. Fang Jiyuan nodded. You're right, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. I know. When I got home, my daughter pounced on me and hugged me. Mom. Today the kindergarten teacher praised me for drawing well. Awesome. I hugged her. What are you drawing? Draw our family. She took out the painting. Look. This is Dad. This is Mom. This is me. This is my brother. Looking at her immature paintings, my heart warms. Yes, this is my home. Warm, happy, complete. Over the next few days, I continued to treat Ji Jing'an. He was very cooperative, took medicine on time, and had regular checkups. But I can see that his will to survive is not strong. Mr. Ji, you need to actively cooperate with treatment. I reminded him. Doctor, tell you the truth. He smiled bitterly. I don't have the courage to live anymore. Why? Because I lost the most important thing in my life. He looked at me, and because of my own stupidity, I know what he's talking about, but I keep my professional cool. Mr. Ji, everyone makes mistakes. But you can't give up your life just because you make mistakes. But there are some mistakes that cannot be repaired, then accept the reality and start over. I looked at him and said, life is long. Don't ruin the whole future because of a past. Ji Jing'an looked at me, a flash of light flashing in his eyes. Dr. Fang, thank you for your enlightenment. This is what I should do. A month later, Ji Jing'an's condition improved. People are also very energetic. Dr. Fang, I want to be discharged from the hospital, he said. Yes, but you need to review it regularly. I told him. I know. He nodded. Dr. Fang, I want to ask you one last question. What's the problem? Can you forgive me? I looked at him and was silent for a long time. It doesn't matter whether you forgive or not. I finally said, it's important that we all take responsibility for our choices. You're right. He nodded. Thank you for saving my life. It's my duty. On the day Ji Jing'an was discharged from the hospital, I didn't go to see him off, but I heard from the nurse that he stood at the entrance of the hospital for a long time before leaving. Perhaps he is saying goodbye to the past. That night, Fang Jiyuan asked me, will you still think of him? Occasionally, I replied truthfully, but it's not missing, it's emotion. What are you feeling? Emotional arrangement of fate. I leaned into his arms. If we had a good relationship at the beginning, maybe I would never have met you. Then will you regret it? No, I affirmed, because life is what I want now. Fang Jiyuan hugged me tightly. Me too. End of full text.